How you doing, FLG families? Corey Winkoff here, Program Director. I hope everyone had a nice weekend. We're really excited to get involved with our second to last box lacrosse training session this upcoming Saturday. That being said, this video is actually not about training. It's not about tournaments. It's actually about recruiting. So some of you might have seen FLG is rolling out a consulting service to help athletes through the recruiting process. It's important that our FLG families understand that the consulting that you could potentially get from FLG through the recruiting process is all included. So if you play on an FLG Select Boy or FLG Select Girls team, you are going to be helped through the recruiting process in the same way another athlete who might potentially join our team will as well. So what does that mean exactly? Well, if you're currently a 2020 boy or if you're currently a 2021 girl, here's what you get for being on the FLG teams. You're going to get a sports recruits profile, which most of you had filled out completely and gotten after. You have the ability to set up a 1v1 recruiting meeting with myself and Coach Wink, as well as Coach Bob on the girls' side. That's something that we ask our parents reach out to us and set up. We obviously don't know everybody's schedule, and it's important that in order for us to work around your busy lives, you reach out to us and let us know a good date and time to meet with us if you haven't done so already. Now, we've met with most of our 2020s. We met with some of our 2021s, but we want to meet with all of you, ideally by the start of the summer. So that's something, again, you reach out to us, and we will be sure to set that all up. We also have a customized calendar that we've created to help you each and every step of the way through the recruiting process. We also have our own process that has a 1-2-3 step approach in order to create more opportunities for you as you move through your high school years as a lacrosse recruit. We also have something that's pretty cool, which is called a custom college road tour map, which I'll talk about in a second. So anyway, those are our juniors, our rising seniors and our rising juniors, the 20s and the 2021s. Now, let's say you're 2023 or you're a 2022 boy or girl and you're in our program. We're gonna help you in the same way in terms of basically consulting you through your son or daughter's recruiting process. Now, it might seem kind of early, but it really isn't. You have to start thinking about these things. And the way to think about it, there's really two huge things to do as a rising freshman or as a rising sophomore in your own recruiting process. The first thing is you should think about creating or start creating your own and your first highlight video. That could come from film from your FLG fall tournaments, your FLG summer tournaments, a box lacrosse or winter tournament that you played in, a winter league with your high school team or your JV team. It could come from playing middle school or JV sports in the spring. It really, is any film that accumulated together about 1.5, 2 minutes of good plays that show you as a player. That's the first thing that's huge, and that's how you initiate your process, okay? Now, the second thing is, don't worry about the sports recruits. You're going to get that in the future. You don't need that yet. You're not going to be communicating with college coaches just yet, so there's no need for that. Don't worry about the one-on-one meeting. You're going to get that when you're a little bit older, and there's not much to talk about right now, so don't worry about that. Now, the custom roadmap that I mentioned earlier is something that you should start thinking about as a rising freshman, as a rising sophomore, and especially for our older athletes. Right, our rising juniors and seniors. And basically, a custom roadmap means you need to map out a couple different schools to go visit in the near future so you can start figuring out what you like and what you don't like about colleges. Things that are memorable to you as an 8th grader, right, something that stands out that you really like or dislike about a college could be completely different 2 years from now. So it's important to start thinking about these things now. One, it motivates you in the classroom. That's important. But two, understand that you need things to compare up and against once you move through the recruiting process. So seeing a bunch of schools when you're younger allows you to compare, similar schools when you're a little bit older. So that's what that custom roadmap is. Now, if you need help creating that map, that's something that we can do. Feel free to set up a time to speak with us so that way we can create the map of different schools that you can go check out. We can actually express to you different road tours that we've taken in the past. You can literally follow that same map and visit those same schools. It doesn't have to be an official or an organized visit where you go and actually get a chance to see the team or the coaches, although that can be a part of the experience. It's important to just cover ground and touch your car and, start walking around and being a part of campus tours on as many schools as you possibly can. Now, with February break coming up, the dates are going to be February 16th, which is that Saturday, and that goes until February 24th, which I believe is the Sunday. That's a really, really good time to go visit college campuses. I guess the first reason is, a lot of schools are in session, so you get to watch and see the kind of like the activity and the culture and the community that exists on these college campuses. Another thing, you're off from school for the most part, so you're not really missing any high school or middle school classes to go on to your college road tour, so that's big. And I think too, I mentioned how you might get a chance to experience a little bit of the lacrosse side of things. A lot of schools are starting to practice and actually even play games come February break. So you might get a chance to catch one of those if you time it up rightly and you do enough organizing. So that's a reason February break is huge for the college visits. Now, let's talk about what FLG is doing to help our athletes, in particular with our February break college road tour. So myself, Coach Wink, and our producer Cliff, who's going to be documenting the entire college road tour, is going to be visiting in upwards of 6 schools, both the men's and the women's programs. And the reason that we visit these schools are for a couple of reasons. The first reason is we talk about our lacrosse recruits. So for us, it's important to know what our FLG players want to get out of college and what schools you might want to go to. Because if we have that information, we can then talk about you on our college visits. We literally come with our rosters in hand. We got a folder, a booklet. I go through with my computer different highlight videos of players that stand out. I talk about who's doing a really good job being proactive in the recruiting process. And we do all that good stuff. It's really, really helped our lacrosse recruits and getting them on the map for these schools and also placing players in the past. So we'll be doing that. That's the first reason we go on the tour. And the second reason is it's the best way to learn about schools. We learn things about colleges that you can't learn on their website. We learn it from the students on campus. We learn it with hanging out at the local bar at night. We talk to the college coaches. We're talking to the training staff. We're talking to everybody. And the beautiful thing about it this year, we're going to be documenting some of the trips. So you, from the comfort of your home on your phone, tune into Instagram. You can check out our YouTube videos, follow us on Twitter. You can check out some of these facts and some of the things that are going on in these college campuses if you're just hanging out at home or even if you're on a tour of yourself. So it's really important that you follow us and continue to as we move through February break. Now, let's talk about what schools we're visiting. The first school is going to be East Stroudsburg. They currently only have a women's program. They don't have a men's program, but they're absolutely killing it. Eastern PA, it's a great school, competitive conference. So if any of our girls, Laxers, might think about East Stroudsburg, let us know so we can talk to the coaches. Second trip is going to be Bucknell. That's going to be the one Division I school that we attend. One of the best schools in the country from an academic perspective, and they got great lacrosse, both on the boys and girls side. So we'll be meeting with both of those staffs. Then we're going to be heading over to Dickinson, meeting with both the men's and the women's programs, really competitive, high academic Division III school. Then we're going over to York, 2 programs that have been built up into being national powers, both on the boys and then the girls program getting good as well. So that's another great school that we're going to be visiting. So second to last, we have Franklin and Marshall. We're really close with both stabs over there, and that's going to be an excellent trip. We hear that's a beautiful school. We've placed players there in the past, and it's a super desirable location for players that are looking to play really high-level Division III lacrosse, along with going to a really, really good school academically. And then the last school is Muhlenberg, a program that many people maybe have never heard of years ago, but they are on the rise. A great school, good business programs. They have tremendous lacrosse, and we're really excited to meet with them. So those are our 6 schools. We have East Stroudsburg, Bucknell, Dickinson, York, Franklin and Marshall, and then also Muhlenberg. That's our Pennsylvania February break college road tour. So again, let us help you find the right schools by maybe mapping out a trip. If you are a junior or sophomore in our program, please schedule a recruiting meeting. It takes no more than 1 hour. It's well worth your time. It gets us on the same page. It gets us, basically doing work that is beneficial, that's targeted, that makes sense for you as a lacrosse recruit. And we want to make sure that we're creating as many opportunities as possible as you move through your recruiting process over the next couple of years. Our younger student athletes, get that highlight video. Some of our freshmen have already created one, and they are amazing, all right? It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a couple clips. Secondly, parents, if you have a son or a daughter who wants to play in college, you're on our 8th or 9th grade team, which is pretty much most of you, start visiting schools, right? It could be Long Island schools. You don't have to get crazy. You don't have to travel all the way to Pennsylvania just yet. Go visit a couple schools here on the island. drive through them, maybe do a tour, go to a local basketball game, go check out a Stony Brook basketball game, get that experience, maybe step into a couple buildings so you can see what the classrooms are like. Those are super beneficial for our athletes getting motivated, not just on the field, but also in the classroom. Okay, so if anyone has questions, you can reply by shooting me an email, cwinkoff@flglacrosse.com. Call the office, 516-750-6500. Older studleets, schedule your recruiting meetings. We need to get that going right away. Okay, I hope everyone has a great week. We'll see you guys at Box Lacrosse on Saturday. Make sure to mark your availability on TeamSnap. That's really important. And we hope you guys have a good rest of your Monday. Take care.